Yo, yo, what's up, good people? The boys from the Phantom Geek Zone are back once again. As usual, I'm Izzy,
I'm Riyaal.
and we're bringing you yet another dope episode. Today, we're going to be breaking down Black Widow,
Yeah, so
continuing with our MCU recap
Yeah.
series. And whew, so much to say. We'll see, good or
Okay.
bad as we break it down further. The first thing I want to get right into, right? Let me start off with some history,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I'll bring you in for your take.
break it down.
So rewind to this is 2020.
Yeah, COVID, eh?
Yeah,
This is
COVID
a COVID,
times.
this is a COVID movie.
Yeah, COVID was a long. COVID was like a 2-3 year in one type of situation. So COVID times when the movie drops, but rewind roughly 10 years before, it's 2010, Iron Man 2 drops,
Yeah.
and everyone, of course, goes crazy upon seeing Black Widow's
Introduction,
debut.
yeah.
Yeah. And remember, as we've touched on, but I don't think anyone who's watched the movie, is going to be surprised by this. The movie wasn't too well
Yeah.
received, but she was one of the standouts in it, actually. And ever since then, people have been clamoring, yo, man, we need a Black Widow
Standalone,
movie.
yeah.
We need a Black Widow movie. We need a Black Widow movie. And there was this asshole of an exec, on some, nope, no one's gonna watch, a movie led by a woman. No one's gonna buy, a female character-based
my
toy.
gosh.
The same cat who said, yeah, man, put Don Cheadle in Iron Man. Who's gonna tell the difference between him and Terrence Howard? So, yeah. When I say asshole, I do not use that word lightly, right? I guess out the gate, answering the question of why did it take 10 years, for a Black Widow movie to come out. Look, part of it is, of course, the fact that they didn't plan
Yeah.
to make a Black Widow movie, but just in terms of
Popularity.
why it took so long
Yeah.
post the popularity and the clamoring from the fans, right? That's one side of it. That being established, my initial question to you then is, did this movie live up to that particular expectation? Perhaps, let's put a pin in that. The first question, did you also feel like a Black Widow movie would have been dope to see? Did you want one, or what is your take along the years?
I didn't really care much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's always a side character,
Yeah,
if you will. And she shone where she needed to shine. And
Yeah.
I wasn't too fussed whether I got a movie or not.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't really care too much whether I got this movie or not.
Yeah.
But on the watch, I'm glad we got it. But now we know we've got a template maybe going forward for other side characters who
Okay.
people may think are really popular and may need a movie, but we can discuss that further on as well.
Okay, cool. For me, I don't think inherently, I was looking for a Black Widow movie, but once I heard the murmurs, it was kind of like, oh, because of how much I enjoyed it, I was like, I'm intrigued to see
Yeah.
how that would look. Because at the end of the day, she's also a spy, and I mean,
An
that genre
an
as a
espionage
whole.
movie, yeah.
Listen, man, James Bond, Bond series, Salt.
Winter Soldier.
Actually, that's one of the comparisons I wanted
Yeah.
to make as we go along. But yes, even within the
Yeah,
MCU
MCU
universe,
got spies.
Winter Soldier
Yeah.
is a great example of the potential that these movies could
Yeah.
reach. The moment that did make me feel like, now I'd like a Black Widow movie is Avengers 1.
Okay.
I don't recall Battle of New York.
Yeah.
Natasha and Clint side by side.
Budapest.
Yeah, and
Budapest
then,
or Budapest?
he's like, it's definitely Budapest. Like, yeah, we're not even gonna. So, is it him who said it first? I think so. He's like, this reminds me of Budapest, and then she's like, you and me remember Budapest very differently. It's such a
Now
silly
you want to
thing.
know about Budapest.
Dude, it's such a silly thing, but in every movie, right?
And I guess
Anytime I get characters that do the whole, this reminds me of our trip to Mumbai. This reminds me of when we were sailing in the
But
skiing
I
in the
think
Alps or
it
whatever.
hits a bit differently because both of them are not necessarily main characters.
Yeah.
And so we don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
So now we want to know something about them just to flesh out
Yeah.
the story a bit more.
But the thing is, it's obviously not the only conversation they had. Maybe it's the only one alluding to the shared past,
Yeah.
and that's why. Because I'm trying to think of, yes, in all the movies where they talk about, oh, back in those days, back in this place, and I get excited by those lines, but here it just felt like it hit different. And I guess to your point, it's because it's now coming from side characters,
Yeah.
whereas maybe it'll sometimes come from the main characters. But again, it's not the only time they've shared a scene
Yeah.
or spoken about a shared experience. But that line from 2012 has always just, gotten me quite
They
curious.
brought it back a few times.
Then maybe
Yeah.
that, but even before
Yeah, I mean-
the subsequent, callbacks, if you will, I think that initial one, just kind of latched onto me.
Okay.
And along with the references to Natasha's past, when,
Yes.
when they would speak on
The
the Red
Red Room,
Room
yeah.
and all the cruel things that were done to her, the hardcore training. I was like, man, an origin story,
Would be nice,
would be
yeah.
pretty dope. That being said, before we get, to the super specifics, what's your overall, because you said, okay, going in, it's like, hey man, if they give us one, they give us one. But as far as having watched it, besides the whole template thing, what's your summation of it?
So I mean, it's as you said just now. I would have liked an origin movie more
Yeah.
than what we got.
Yes.
So what we got is kind of like a side quest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is post Civil War. It's post
Civil
Civil War.
and
She's
then
on the run.
Pre-Infinity War. Yeah.
Pre-Infinity War. So we got a kind of a side quest, and then kind of alluding to the background.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good movie. It's
Yeah.
not outstanding, but I
Yeah.
think what we got was good. But I would have liked more Natasha rather than the family.
The Romanovs.
family, yeah.
or-
The
I don't
Romanovs,
even know
yeah.
what their shared surname is, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much with you on
Yeah.
that point. I was like, because there's two key things here, right? For a character whose movie was not planned. One, there was a demand for it, no
Yeah.
question, cool. Two, the next thing to answer is, okay, what story do we tell? And I feel like the what of it all was right there.
Yeah.
You kept teasing the Red Room origin story.
is she?
Touch on
Yeah.
the Red Room origin story, right? There's a whole thing
You
about
did Red Room, Budapest. Now you've got these little
the
droplets all
the
and about,
sprinkles that they've
sprinkles,
been
the crumbs, yeah.
laying across the floor, and also the whole thing where she's a detached
Yeah.
person, which adds to her being a great spy.
And you must also look in terms of when this movie was made.
yeah,
She died in the MCU. Like, Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't around anymore. So
Yeah.
we're clamoring for more Black
Yeah.
Widow because that scene is heart-wrenching. Like they're
Exactly.
both choosing to die and then she wins.
and I think for them, they focus more on the fact that it's someone whose story we wanted to see, but they didn't focus on the story we wanted to see
Yeah.
based on that person. So that was the part that got me a bit annoyed, especially because it's right there.
Yeah.
We're not making this up. It's
Exactly,
them
like,
who teased us about it.
And they've done it before, like standalone movies that fit in somehow.
Yeah.
But like way out of like, I mean, if you think about the first Captain America, it's a standalone origin movie.
Yeah.
And we kind of needed that here.
And
But obviously, this is not establishing a character, but building into a character.
the backstory.
Because I guess that's a little bit of a difference there.
And that's the thing, right? Because if you think again, as far as the angle they chose to follow, we didn't need to see what Natasha was doing between Civil War and Endgame.
Yeah.
We definitely, need is a strong word, but would have
Yeah.
loved to see where she actually, began her journey, because we've got the arch as far as, where it ended off and where we first met her and all of that. That would have been such a dope element to, complete the puzzle.
And I guess maybe they were trying to go for what they did with Hawkeye in Age of Ultron. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes.
That was one scene in
Yeah.
a movie versus an entire movie.
yeah.
So, I think they hit a bit of a misstep, unfortunately.
But I also understand if they had a vision to expand the universe and they knew they were going to have Yelena promulgated, it was a nice introduction to her character, as well as Red Guardian, his character. Introduction is into characters, I guess, but saying that, you could have also had that in the origin.
Full on.
Yeah.
That's the next thing I wanted to highlight. The fact that one of the elements I actually enjoyed about this is look, as a character, Blackwood, I think she was still dope. They didn't necessarily, you
Yeah.
know,
No,
do
she was
her
still.
a
They
misjustice.
did that. Yeah, they did her justice.
She was pretty dope.
Yeah.
But yes, with Thunderbolts then coming to mind, I do love that we got the Yelena origin story
Yes.
in a sense and Red Guardian,
Guardians,
as you
yeah.
mentioned. So when watching it, I kept thinking to myself, because a full-on origin story could have alienated them or eliminated them from it completely. So in my mind, I was like, do one of those half and half type things. Like
Yeah.
you actually show the beginning. Because remember, they did a teaser here and there.
Yeah,
I think
I
Age
mean,
of Ultron,
yeah.
is it, where she had the flashbacks to when, you know, they did the whole
Oh, when they
forced
were like-
hysterectomy surgery,
Yes,
that
yes,
whole
yes.
thing. But again, it's like little flashes, little teasers. They'll show them with the strict, you know, Russian teacher, that type of thing. It's like, no, flesh that out. And then you could have done a time jump so that we see, you know, Yelena and Red Guardian where they are now. And then some of the elements of this, even if you still kept the core of destroying the
Yeah.
Red Room, that could have been, you know, the latter half
And
of
that's
the
the thing.
movie.
This is the second time destroying the Red Room, if that makes sense.
Because they said
Yeah,
that
in
the
Budapest
was
is
about,
where it's its first time.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's
you could
actually
have
a
kind
good
of had the
point.
same story, just 15 years. earlier or
Okay,
something.
that's a good point. Yeah. So my version is kind of based on still having this modern, you know, Yelena and Red Guardian, because I think those are without a doubt the two other elements
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed in this. And then, what do you think about the choice to exclude Clint entirely?
I think in terms of this movie specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because they only mention Budapest in passing,
Yeah.
fine. I didn't miss it.
That I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I feel like they almost half-stepped it on that front, because then when they get to the Budapest safe house, they reference that there's
The
it's arrows.
arrows,
Yeah. So for me, it's like, no man, either have him or don't.
Don't,
Like,
okay.
yeah, why allude? Not to mention the first fight we saw Taskmaster studying is
But
you know, yeah, Clint fighting Black Panther. So that for me felt a bit weird. It was almost a reminder of his absence.
okay,
So it felt like there was, I don't know if it's a lack of conviction or what.
Yeah.
For the record, to, shift gears ever so slightly, but I'm going to bring it back. We know, who plays Clint now? Jeremy Renner.
Renner, yeah.
Yeah. He was in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And it's the only one he was in.
Yeah.
He never came back. It turns out they did want him to come back, and then he was like, "Nah, I'm good." Because in the subsequent movies, I mean, all of them are, you know, major as far as not only the stunts but the locations. So he didn't want to travel that far.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to be this, you know, not stay-at-home dad, but spend more time with his kids and that sort of thing. So that makes me think, what if the
Same
plan
story
was to
here.
have him in here, but clearly you could see the locations that,
Yeah,
you know, these
it's
guys were not
Russia,
filming in some,
Budapest,
you know,
Korea,
it wasn't a blue
Yeah.
screen room somewhere in the corner of Marvel's studios. So that's perhaps why he wasn't in it. But that still
Okay,
doesn't
that makes
speak
sense.
to why the script still references him.
when was he injured? Wasn't he like seriously
Ah,
injured? Like
okay.
that may also play into
Another
it.
good point. Yes. Was it on Avengers? I know Tag, he got injured. I don't know if there was a different. Wait, you're talking about that near death one.
I know he got injured multiple times.
I was gonna say he's had a few.
Yeah. Like near death.
Okay, let's
multiple
just
near death.
lay them out as far as what we recall. I know
There was a snowboarding.
that
or
was the
like-
last and the
yeah,
major one.
Most
I
recent
don't
one, yeah.
remember what year Tag dropped.
2018, I want to say.
2018,
So they
okay.
could have been shooting this movie around about that time.
Yeah, if it dropped in 2020,
2020,
then
yeah.
2018. Okay, so maybe scheduling conflicts with Tag, or maybe the injury. So in the movie, there's a part where he like climbs or jumps over a stack of chairs, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and then he
yeah.
fell,
So
yeah.
that stunt he injured himself and then was out of commission for a bit. And then one of the Avengers movies, I feel like there's an injury he sustained.
Okay.
Stand to be corrected, but the one major, like proper life-threatening, you know,
Yeah, it was the snow
injuries.
skiing or something.
It's I forgot what it's called now. So in America, where they've got the snow in the streets, they've got these cars that clear it out.
Oh, Zambonis.
So yeah,
Kind of, yeah,
basically,
like a Zamboni
yeah,
kind of
it's
thing,
a street
yeah.
Zamboni type thing. And yeah, his nephew was in its crosshairs, pushed him out, and then the thing just whoa. And whenever he talks about the story, like you hear about, oh, there was an injury, but when he tells the story in interviews, I can't watch a single retelling without just going like, oh man, like
Yeah.
no, it was pretty bad, and he was out of commission for quite some time. So
Hey,
among
you're saving a life, man.
all
Like,
those factors that you
Hawkeye in
mentioned,
real life too.
yes, real life superhero dog, yeah, you know, and he's always very clear about saying, hey man, I'll do it again, no regrets type thing. So any one of those could have been a factor, but again, my main point is
You would have liked to see him.
don't tease him if he's not in it, but I definitely would have loved to have him feature in the movie. We touched on Yelena and Red Guardian. Let's get a
Yeah,
little
characters,
into
right,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, what you think?
Florence Pugh, definitely one of the highlights of this movie. Her chemistry with Natasha Romanoff, or the sisters, basically. They're like how siblings are supposed to be, just bantering, pointing each other's like, you know,
And
their
she was a
flaws
proper
and
little
things.
sister
Yeah.
also. So.
Yeah, she's a little brat at times.
Yeah.
Because like the funny one is like, why do you always do the pose? Like
Yeah,
you're such
yeah.
a poser. Yeah, so like really good chemistry between her, the two sisters. Also with her and Red Guardian, good chemistry. But also she came across really good at being traumatized by the Red Room.
Yes.
You know, I think they were talking about the hysterectomy, and it's like they just went for it. They were just describing it, not pulling any
The
punches.
homie's like, all right, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, it was obviously her way of making fun to avoid crying over the trauma.
It was her coping. Her sense of humor was her coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And we can all relate to that on some level.
Of course.
Yeah. So really well done, you know, in terms of characters and chemistry with other characters.
Yeah.
Good story as well. And also just puts it in perspective. She's a trained assassin from a child, like a fishing vest being her first possession. You know.
Okay.
You know, just the perspective there as well. The perspective shift. She hasn't really been herself.
Yeah,
You know,
no child.
she's been controlled the whole time. Also, you know, great fight scenes. You know, we can chat about that a bit later. But I really enjoyed the change of pace. Because if you're looking at Marvel at that time, that would have been around the big, grandiose fights, you know.
Yes.
Infinity War. I don't know what came out in 2019. I want to say.
Yeah, this is
Eternals was
Endgame,
Eternals was
and then-
around that time as well.
Yeah.
So really big, grandiose world-scale fights. But here they, as we always say, they distilled
They're
it
nice
down,
little
nice
street
hand to
level.
hand.
Yeah.
Lots of good fights there, and she, you know, partook in a few of those. Yeah, so I liked her character. They did her justice.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed her portrayal as well. This is interestingly enough the first Florence Pugh movie I saw, and it was also around the time where her stardom was really
on the up,
bubbling up. So the name would pop up here and there, and I later made the connection that it's this lady that they're talking about. So Zach Braff, aka JD from Scrubs. I don't know if you know, but he directed quite a few movies.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never watched it, but I know it's a big cult status movie, Garden State or something.
I've heard of
Which
it.
is,
I've heard of it.
that's like early on, like 02 or so. So that's how long he's been a director, is kind of my point. But basically around that early 2020 era, if not late 2010s, he directs, writes a movie, and then she co-stars in it. And so there was a whole press run around that time as well. I'm like, okay, Florence Pugh, and then she started to star in other things. And I'm sure I'd seen the movie already, and I'm like, no, man, it's this girl that they're talking about, and because she's like Russian in the movie.
Yeah.
So
But she's British in real
she's
life.
British in real life. So I never even thought of her as like American or British or whatever. I just thought, okay, Russian actress, and kept it moving. So hence it taking a while to make the connection. But all of that aside, and that's also how you know that an actor did a good job, because there wasn't any of the fluff behind my enjoying of her portrayal. She was an unknown, and still loved her from the jump. And there isn't really much more to say. I like less on the portrayal, more on the writing. As I said earlier, she was like a baby sister, like bit of a brat at times. But, excuse me.
But also daddy's girl.
And the biggest takeaway for me was how impacted she was by everything. Because remember, we know Natasha to be, you know, relatively cold. And I guess part of it is that it's big sister things, and there's also another element of, I mean, nature at the end of the day is also going to do its thing. Maybe that's just who she is, but she's been on missions and doing all things for so long that if there was any issues, she's gotten over it. But Yelena's been carrying it this entire time, and a subtle but brilliant differentiating factor between the two of them is how they were trained. Natasha is like old school, you know, we whip it out of you type of thing, which is perhaps why she's also a bit more put together, so to speak, versus Yelena, where it was more the chemical route.
Drugged up,
And so once those effects are gone, that natural element which wasn't tempered is coming out. So I was like, damn, I like the subtlety of that. And I mean, we say so many times where it's like, don't baby us with information, man. Like sometimes it's nice to get us to think about things and whether we're right or wrong.
We enjoy it a little bit more when we think about it.
And whether you're right or wrong, but just the fact that you put 2 and 2 together on your own makes it, you know, such a rich
satisfying
experience. So I think on that front, I was like, oh man, brilliant. From start to finish, I don't think there was anything on her character's front that felt like a problem. And I like how there was a discipline, if you will, as far as, I don't know generally how well liked she was. I can't imagine people hating the character though, but to then not shoehorn her into everything right afterwards. I actually enjoy that part. And Thunderbolts is the only other one that she's appearing
maybe in the series, maybe. But I haven't been keeping up with that.
I think so. Yeah, small chance. I don't know, but it wasn't a thing like that, you know. And
even with Red Guardian as well.
Yeah, he also then pretty much only came back with the Thunderbolts.
And that's what, like 5 years later now.
Yeah, and the fact that that movie was so enjoyable makes it a worthwhile payoff as well, you know. But in due course, we'll be breaking that down. So yeah, that's me on Yelena. You know, you want to talk a bit more about Red Guardian? Or?
Red Guardian, I mean, David Harbour, I know him from Stranger Things. Everybody knows him from Stranger Things. Again, he's playing a dad. But he's a different dad now. He's a little bit of a washed up.
Hey man,
he's a little bit washed up. I was looking at him and I was like, he's supposed to be a Captain America's counterpart. Why does he have a beer belly? And I'm like,
only in here is he that. Like, I don't think anyone ever thought that outside of him. First of all, you know.
But I thought just introducing him in the prison was quite nice.
Reintroducing.
Yeah, reintroducing him.
Because
it was just like, you know, arm wrestling, the arm wrestling. So you know, he's talking about how I'm a super soldier, and then you see the biggest guy there is like, you think you are? He would have been frozen, and then you actually just see him break the guy's hand, which is which was just to show, like, it just emphasized, okay, I'm a super soldier. Don't let this beard, this belly, and the physique, and my cracked head. Fool you, but I am a super soldier. I guess he was the comic relief in this movie. I enjoyed it. Like even I'm getting sidetracked here, but just the scene with him trying to put on the suit. And they all just, it's like, let's have a drink.
That he hasn't worn or has
but it hasn't been washed in 20 years.
Like 20 years. And he's like, no, why not? I liked him, man. I think
he riffed off the characters well. Like the characters all riffed off each other really well.
Yeah, it's like a short little effective type of jab, you know, wasn't overly done, wasn't too subtle, you know, but in the midst of all the craziness and the madness, I think similar to Yelena, maybe why she's daddy's girl is he's also, there's the one, you know, part of his character.
Oh, that's actually a good take. Like, he's daddy's girl and Natasha is mommy's. Mommy's
and the characters
are very similar,
basically, you know. So, yes, there's a whole Captain America thing as far as living in the past, but clearly, even the family element means a lot to him, you know. Same as with Yelena. So they were each other's counterparts in that aspect. And I think the moments where it does come through, it actually resonates, you know. I think as a viewer, I definitely felt like, he's this big goofball, but at the end of the day, he just wants his family again. And if you think about how they were even separated, like, it wasn't up to them, it was the organization doing its thing, you guys just there on the mission, and that's that, and it's like, ish. And I think because sometimes I'd question that opening scene, with the escape. But also, when I link it back to some of the moments we get later on in the movie, I'm like, okay, I guess just establishing that as much as it was a mission, there was still that element of we're going to protect one another, we're a family unit. Hence, some of the family members holding on to that all their life.
I think all of them did in some way.
In their own way, yeah. So yeah, David Harbour, came through with the dope character acting that he always does. I enjoyed that a lot. Any other standouts? I think the action definitely. Yeah, let's actually get right into that.
I think that's it for the characters. Rachel Weisz played her part well.
Yeah, it was a nice reserved role, basically.
I mean, I hadn't seen her since forever.
I
don't even know where.
That's my thing. But I know this face.
The last time I saw was The Mummy.
Yeah, it's old school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know anything relevant since that she's been
me too.
in. That's my own fault there, not being clued up. But yeah, she played her part well. There weren't any other major characters.
Yeah,
it was more like a contained family story, which I think I enjoyed because, like, yes, you did have the villain, but he was just like there looming, and they'd focused on the family, which was fine. So that's in terms of characters.
I think,
but you want to go.
Then as far as the action, for me, man, again, a quick side check. So we're in 2025, recording this episode, and a few months back, it was announced that Christopher Nolan, he's done shooting the Odyssey, his next movie, and all of that. And one of the things that came out was that it's now the first movie to be fully shot in IMAX.
Okay.
And I mean, The Dark Knight, when he recorded or filmed that, it was the first movie to feature an IMAX scene, so he's kind of like completed the IMAX arc. And when I saw that this movie was filmed fully in IMAX, the first thing I said was, thank goodness, because in a year or 3, it's going to become standard for everyone else to film it. I say that because it's not the first Marvel movie to give me this feeling. There have been a few others as well, where there's such a dope scene happening, and I'm like, this scene looks amazing, look at the cinematography and all of that. And then the next scene, because here's the thing with IMAX, for those who don't know.
The
aspect ratio, right? Yeah. So instead of having like wide screen, which is where you have the black bar at the top and bottom of the screen, which is what a lot of movies use, IMAX will fill up your entire screen, but also the visual quality is astronomical. And I miss the days where I wouldn't pick up the difference.
I still don't, so like I'm hearing this for the first time.
I mean, for me, even with, I think, The Dark Knight Rises, it took a couple times watching it again and again. And then I'm like, I feel like something changed, but I don't know what. So I didn't realize the aspect ratio. But now I'm on it where
you can just see the bar, you can see the lines.
So it's the bar and the quality also, it's like, I almost said for the YouTube viewers, but again, if you're watching this, obviously, you're among them. If you switch, 720p quality is
good,
pretty decent. But if you switch from 1080 to 720, that drop, you do notice it, even though it's not necessarily. So that's kind of my issue. But all that rambling aside, the action scenes having been shot in IMAX, I remember just being like, what, Black Widow, is this you? Like, it's this standard of action that's in here. And then when they switch over to the normal aspect ratio, I realized, IMAX also added its oomph to that scene, For me, the standout is definitely that one in Budapest.
With the two sisters going
where the sisters were being ambushed. 100%. And then as they run into the streets.
For me, it's even the first one, the intro of Taskmaster. And then
by the bridge?
At the bridge.
Oh, okay.
And you just see the subtle things because they say she can copy everything.
And
you see the subtle, like, Captain America's fight
that's
style.
A cap stance.
You see the subtle ones and you're just like, oh, that's cool.
The action scenes, man, I think that Budapest one in particular, because there were different layers to it, It's in the apartment, it's, of course, the guns, smoke bombs, all of that.
Then it's the hand fighting.
The fights, and then you jump into the streets, now it becomes like a dope chase scene, and,
Shout out to BMW.
They 100% sponsored this. Ain't no question about it. But just watching that, and I'm like, because as much as we have our fair share of Marvel fight and action scenes that we praise, if you think about it overall, it's not too many, actually. So I feel like the few that we do get, it always, adds such a nice, dope element. And to echo what we said with, it was Civil War, but it also came through from the Winter Soldier, where because you are not dealing with a super being,
Yeah.
you have to make it a dope practical action set piece, any chance you get. And I think they definitely brought
Yeah,
that
100%.
into this.
Like, not at once did you think superpowers in this movie at
Yeah.
all. At most, it's just Red Guardian picking up a truck or breaking a guy's hand, but other than that, it was very earthy, grounded.
Yeah, dope practical
Yeah.
stunts type of thing. I don't know how you feel they did as far as maintaining the standard throughout the movie, though.
The fight scenes.
Yeah, or just action scenes in general.
Action scenes, yeah. Now that you think about it, the ones I'm highlighting are at the beginning. So bringing it up, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But not so noticeable that I'm complaining about
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, for me, given how much I'd enjoyed it, as the others came through, I was like, that could have been a little doper and so on. But yeah, as far as the fights, I definitely also appreciated that it's like the rawness of that, proper hand-to-hand combat type of thing. They didn't overly lean into the whole quick cut thing where you can barely tell
And
what's
look,
going on.
they bled as well, which was nice.
Ooh, yes, yeah. So that's the thing, right? Sometimes you are so entranced by what's going on, you almost kind of forget the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Which in this case is the fact that you don't
Blood.
often get that these days.
The
in
blood,
Marvel.
also like you saw the bruises on Natasha. It's like, and
Yeah.
I like the timing of it. It's like, you're a superhero, aren't you? And then you just see her taking the shirt off and the bruises, and you're like,
Now you see,
no, she
not
isn't really a superhero.
Yes, and as much as you've been emotionally hurting about her not reaching out and whatnot, she ain't exactly, being out there in paradise.
Just chilling, yeah.
Despite being an Avenger. So I think, that was a pretty dope element of it. Do you think we got enough humanity from Natasha? I think that scene brought the question to mind.
I think so.
Okay.
Because she's not a very, how can I say, she's not a very emotive character in general. And here we did get a lot more, I would say, in terms of the familial interactions, a lot more emotion there.
Okay.
And you get that because your family brings out things in people,
Yeah.
When you see people with their family for the first time or with their friend group, you're like, is that you?
You're like,
Is that
oh,
you?
this is why you're the way you are, type of thing. Yeah.
So you saw that with the family, but in terms of like the action and the sequences, there were times when she's falling off a building and you had to suspend your disbelief. Because like she fell like 4 or 5 stories sometimes.
I didn't like that she landed on her feet. I feel like at least stumble over or something. Just, make it a bit more human. But
so there was a few times you had to suspend your disbelief, but at this point where we were at Marvel, like she's probably got some sort of super serum in her that we don't know about. So you can let it go a little bit. But I don't know. How do you feel?
I think, we've already touched on what the ideal story to tell would have been. It would have come across a bit more. But like I said, the mentioning of the scene with the bruises kind of brought that to mind that, could we maybe delved a little deeper into that aspect of her character? And I feel like while we got glimpses of it, maybe a little more could have been told because in a sense, she was still Black Widow, but just, doing a private mission. So I'm not necessarily mad at it, but it would have been nice
a little
to
bit
have.
of a motivation as to why it's so important to take down the Red.
So on that front,
or am I missing something?
No. I'm agreeing with you because I feel like they almost, I don't know, it's almost like they take it for granted. The fact that you're telling us that these guys take a bunch of girls, they remove their humanity, they take out,
1 in 20. Where's the other 19 going?
Yeah, like what missions are they, like, the fact that they do forced hysterectomies in order to make them, the perfect soldiers and all of that. All of that is cool, fine. But I feel like they relied on the anecdotes to be enough to make us cheer her on as she's bringing them down. Whereas there could have been, it didn't have to be, a Natasha thingy A to Z. You could have then pivoted over, okay, here's actually what the Red Room does. We've seen it from her perspective, but sending the
Yeah.
girls to do missions, topple governments, whatever it is, recruiting, young people, yanking them from the family, buying them from families. That sort of, this so that, man, this is an
Or
evil,
even
evil call.
like with Melina, the mom, she's
Yeah,
training pigs to like obey. How is that relating to people now?
And where is the experimentation, if you will? I mean, there was the one scene that got close, right, where they got the markers on Yelena and they were about to drill it too. But it's like we don't get any of that enough to make us really feel like, man, we hate these dudes, but we kind of need to despise them and cheer their downfall, basically. Not to mention, if your people are already out there, what have they done?
Yeah.
What significance do they have in this little universe?
Like Hydra tells you, like,
Yeah, no, we've seen with the Hydra, like, infiltrated governments and all that thing, like, and S.H.I.E.L.D. fell as a result of it, But again, just a little wishful thinking, if you will, on my part. What other elements stood out for you?
I think that's it for me. Maybe just to shout out, there was a lot of locations here.
Man,
just to showcase the planet, really, I think. Shout out to Earth.
Shout out to Mother
showing us Hungary, Budapest. It's like, cobblestone town. Usually it's like Rome or France. So nice change of pace. Showing us Korea, the nightlife there. It's quite nice. This is Korea. No, that's the wrong movie. Never mind. That's a different movie.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I'm
so
fleshing
sorry.
out the scene.
I'm so sorry.
It was a different character that arrived when you had Korea.
So sorry. You see, batch recording what it does to you.
Yeah.
I guess it's also what happens when you watch movies too close to each other.
That's why also I'm like, Korea's familiar.
Hey, but we're in the multiverse now. It could be. No, but look. The locations, right? Like Budapest, Russia. I don't know if the prison was actually in Russia, but they did show us parts of Russia.
But the exterior was amazing of the prison there by the snow. Yeah.
Even just the mountains and that avalanche coming down.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. The outside scenery.
Obviously it was CGI, but it looked good.
Amazing, I'd say. I think on that front, definitely, man.
Yeah.
And because...
I guess the destinations were quite nice.
And that's the thing, right? It always seems like such a trivial thing to bring up, where it's like, these movies are fully shot in front of green screen. I mean, the actors themselves complain about it a lot because their training revolves around interacting with your environment, from the characters to the scenery to the architecture and whatever.
It's like when you see these B-ish grade movies, like a Garfield movie, you see they're holding the cat, but you can tell they're not holding the cat.
It's not, because there's that blending between CGI and the real world that you need to do, which takes quite a lot, actually. It's an easy thing to take for granted, but to the main point, which is, there's a difference that comes across, man, when you see, even if it's just an establishing shot, before they get to whatever the people are doing in Budapest, when they show the landscape of Budapest, the way that scene just, kind of feels real versus if they'd done that on a CGI screen. We're still at a point where it does jump out for me. So I always appreciated when they kind of go old school with it. So,
no, you are a Nolan fan. So am I. So it makes sense.
Yeah, shout out to them for bringing that to the fore.
I think that would be for me, like just the destinations here. Like even when she's Norway, there we go. That's where we were.
Okay.
Like they showcased the fjords in Norway at the beginning. The fjords, like it's people. If you know what a fjord is, you know what a fjord is. It's where the valley comes down and you've got the waterway.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
They showcased Norway really well. It was like a good marketing scheme for them. Well, I guess with anything really. Just like the scenery, I think.
Yeah, the scenery.
Top notch.
Especially for this type of character, I think,
Especially you're a spy, you're going here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah. There's a dope connection between the two. I think for me that kind of sum up then the favorite elements of the movie. Then in terms of the stuff we didn't enjoy so much, if any, I think for me, firstly, I wanna jump off with Taskmaster. Yeah, the character felt like a letdown. It was. It didn't feel like it. It was a letdown. I remember watching it at the beginning. I was so hyped when Taskmaster popped. You know me, I avoid the trailers and all that stuff. I don't remember how much I knew about the movie, if anything. But upon seeing Taskmaster, I was like, oh, let's go. And the reason why, the PS game, Spider-Man, Taskmaster features in there. I barely, because again, even that was like, yeesh, might be before 2020 at this point when I played it. 2018, 2019. I hardly remember the mission. I just remember that I had a hard time with Taskmaster,
Yeah.
you know. And not that it's saying much because I'm not exactly, you know, avid game or anything, but it did also highlight how cool the character is and how badass the character is. Then
And you got bits and pieces here.
That's
and
my
there.
thing, bits and pieces. I feel like anytime Taskmaster stepped onto the screen, man, asses were supposed to be laid out. You were supposed to show such a strong show of force,
Yeah.
basically, you know, especially, dog, if you have the ability to mimic the Avengers, come on.
And like I saw you throwing that shield. It looked like a lot like Captain America.
But then after that, you hardly get anything else that's worthwhile, you know. So I think, yeah, for me, they could have punched up the, not
Yeah,
even
I
on
think
some
so.
backstory, whatever, but
I
just
think-
pure raw action.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted.
I think what they were going for was more of the reveal. It's the daughter.
That, if anything, would have elevated
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Because it's like, man, your daughter's like your right hand, but at the same time, you're manipulating her. She's not even taking for, like,
And that hit, like it hit differently for me. It was just like, oh, you're manipulating your daughter too. Like,
so just showing how far gone she was would have done a lot for the payoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything for you?
the negatives, I mean, nothing really stood out. You know, it's one of those movies where it's good and there's not much.
Yeah, not much else to say. Okay.
Yeah.
The only other thing for me would then be the villain.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He kind of got shoved into that whole cliche thing of, you know, the speech of the speech type of thing.
Oh, he
opposed to-
monologued, yeah.
Yeah, a little too much. And it wasn't even that great of a monologue,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah,
My thing is, why did he even have to monologue?
that's my point. If you're going to monologue, make it great, or rather do some
Something
show
else,
of
yeah.
force type of thing, you know. So I didn't really get that. And as I've mentioned earlier, not even via him per se, but like the people he put in place, there was no real flex of his power and influence.
What he's done in the MCU.
Yes. So he kind of just felt like,
It's just like, oh, I toppled
some
governments,
guy from
I
the
was,
past and,
whatever.
and, you know,
I get you.
So that is my thing. But yeah, on to your point, as far as everything else, yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. Nice little, neatly self-contained
yeah.
movie, and in spite of our take, as far as, you know, what we would have liked to see, based on what they set out to do, I think they did a pretty decent job.
I don't think it was a bad movie by
Yeah,
any
no.
stretch. It was a good movie. I'd definitely rewatch it.
Yeah.
Because I think on the rewatch I was like, oh, this is actually quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is a long movie, but it didn't feel long.
No.
It didn't feel long.
They held your attention very well.
Yeah.
That I'll
Yeah.
give to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, I don't remember
Yeah.
specifics. I remember here and there feeling like, okay, maybe either, you know, tighten this scene or could do without it. But
And I guess the humor, you know, we always complain about the humor being forced. Here, it fed into people's characters
Yes.
and their type of humor. It wasn't
out of
quippies,
place
yeah.
type of thing. Yeah. Anything else in general you want to highlight?
No, I mean, I didn't see any Easter eggs or anything that usually there's like an Easter egg here or there.
Yeah.
Didn't see too much.
man, I don't know.
As you say, it was like quite self-contained.
Very, very self. Yeah. I'll see if anything pops to mind. But yeah, how I wanted to cap this off is basically by just mentioning that I suppose it is a fun fact, or maybe not so fun given the details, but this movie is the reason why, you know, with Marvel movies, right? I was actually just watching a few days ago a Julia Louis-Dreyfus interview.
Oh, yeah.
And Kimmel asked her, you know, yeah, Avengers Doomsday is coming up. Are you going to be in it? And, you know, and she's like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say if I'm in it, if I'm allowed to say I'm not in it. And, you know, and then he kept hopping on it. And she's like, oh, you just got to keep asking. Hey, like, so everyone gets a little antsy when they ask, you know, are they in this, are they in that? Scarlett Johansson, I think it was for Doomsday as well. Because remember they had that whole thing where they revealed the names and whatever. People were asking, are you going to be? And she was very quick to say, nope, not going to be in it. And so I say that to say, this movie is the reason why 99% certainty that you will never see Scarlett Johansson in another MCU movie again.
Yeah, I think her character arc is done.
No, that aside. that aside, because there's always
Okay.
ways, flashbacks
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whatever. That
Okay.
aside, it's more about the behind the scenes politics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she got done proper dirty.
Yeah, well,
regarding
didn't
the
she like
release.
say the movie something about the movie?
So what happened was,
Yeah, I remember
it was,
hearing about this.
Remember, again, no one predicted COVID, right? Not the least of which the cinema guys, Hollywood, right? Because they want to put their movies in cinemas, get their money, all that stuff. So this was slated to be, a full-on theatrical release movie. Now, these guys, their contracts, they have bonuses tied
Yeah.
to box office returns and all of that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So they either simultaneously or right after, somewhere there, dropped it on
From
streaming.
Okay.
And then she sued them because she's like, you guys tanked my earnings as a result of this. They had a whole thing. I think they ended up settling out of court. I don't know, for some reason I feel like the number 20 million is in my mind. So I don't know
Okay.
if that's a real thing, if I'm making it up.
Hey,
but
it's a good chunk of money.
definitely got, a big settlement payout. And since then,
They've
there's never been,
washed their hands.
Yeah, there's never been anything between
If anything, they'll
the two of
recast her.
them. So, I mean, again, she did die in the universe, but we don't know what they're gonna try and do with the character, if anything, going forward. But if nothing, then just know it's basically a result of this movie.
Okay.
And yeah, I think other than that, no real Easter eggs or whatever. Yeah, again, something for me that kind of felt like an insult to injury, as far as we did not need to see Natasha's side quest between these two major movies, is then when they show, oh, here's where she got this ship. Because remember in Infinity War we see her and Cap popping up in it.
Okay.
I didn't need to see where she got the ship, and it's like, oh, now she's got the Infinity War hairstyle. Like, it
Two
almost
weeks.
felt
2 weeks later, even
like a forced tie-in. So yeah, I don't recall anything that I saw throughout the movie. Either there wasn't or just didn't jump out.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much that then, as far as our take is concerned. So out of 10,
I would say 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
I think I'm on there as well. I watched it twice, and the first time I was like, oh damn, because I remember feeling underwhelmed when
The
back
initial
when
watch, yeah.
came out, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, so I probably would have given it a higher rating if I just watched it the once, and then when I watched it again, and I was like, okay, now it's
Yeah.
leveling out a bit. So I'm with you there on the 6.5 out of 10. Needless to say, not going to crack our MCU top
No,
5.
no.
Yeah,
Not at
but
all.
just to
yeah.
recap on where we're at there, we got Iron Man,
Yep.
still standing strong as number 1. We got Civil War number 2,
No.
Captain America Civil War number 2. We got Spider-Man.
There's no Spidey second. Yeah, Spidey second. Yeah, so Spider-Man Homecoming second, Civil War third,
Okay.
and then we have Avengers.
We have Avengers 1 and then Avengers...
No, sorry. I'm getting this wrong.
Okay.
It's Iron Man 1, it's Spider-Man Homecoming,
Yes.
it's Civil War,
War,
Captain America Civil War, it's Captain America...
No, it's Avengers 1 and then...
No, Winter Soldier. Captain America Winter
Winter
Soldier,
Soldier and then
Avengers.
Avengers 1.
Yeah, we got there eventually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you would have pulled the first Avengers, like, yeah, first Avengers be up the running. And okay, yeah. That is our top 5 still.
Captain America. No, it's not going to be all Captain America.
But shout out to Cap, because for a while I was like, hey man, Avengers are taking over this, but I see Cap as, but again, man, I've been saying greatest trilogy.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can also talk about how he features Avengers, but still. Yeah, man, then with all that established, the spiel by now, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow us on Instagram, the Phantom Geek Zone. And yeah, hit us up in the comments, are we on it? Are we not? What do you think of the movie?
What would you like to see?
What would you like us? That's very, very important, actually. Yeah. You basically know the scope of our universe, not just DCEU and MCU.
Well,
Pretty much all the comic book movies, geeky stuff. So yeah, let us know, and then we'll be more than happy to check those out. Otherwise, that's it for this one, and then man, catch you at the next one.
Peace.
Peace.